Another one that's close to a toss-up. Tabatha Ricci coming in at minus 115. Gillian Robertson plus 115. Over under 2.5 rounds. Minus 200 for the over. Plus 200 for the under. A strawweight bout here. Tabatha Ricci 4-1 in her last 5. Gillian Robertson 3-2 in the last 5. And she has gotten a submission win over Tabatha Ricci's teammate her last time out, Pierre Rodriguez. We were both in attendance for that one at UFC Kansas City. She got it in the second round. Armbar. Very beautiful. I mean, she took her down, was on heavy on top for a while, stayed patient. 40 seconds left in the round, and she goes for the armbar and gets it. Some people, mainly just Pierre Rodriguez, would say she didn't tap, but either way, she's got the win. And it looked like could have been inevitable eventually, because she was having some good top pressure the entire fight. But in this one, this is probably going to be one that's like the most controversial, or one of the most controversial fights of the week. What are you thinking?
Yeah, it's tough. I want to lean with Gillian, and there was a lot of questions going into her last fight about how she was going to look cutting down a weight class, and she was big in that fight, and it played into her advantage, and she looked solid. Like, she didn't have any gas tank issues. The weight cut didn't seem to just absolutely kill her by any means. Like, she looked pretty healthy in there, and if that's the case again, I think she's obviously going to have a good size advantage over Ricci, who's 5'1", whereas Gillian's 5'5". I think if the fight goes to the ground with Gillian on top, it's going to play into her advantage, being stronger, having that submission game she does. I think she's she's the submission leader for all women's MMA in the UFC. I don't know if that's correct, but I know she's up there. I know she holds some kind of records.
Yeah.
And I mean, she's just got a load of fights on her record for only being 26 years old, 27 years old. So she's constantly getting better. She's got a ton of experience, whereas Tabatha only has, 4 or 5 fights in the UFC, and it's not against super, super high level competition yet. If it stays on the feet, Tabatha should be the one leading the dance, you would think, if she can close that distance. I think she'll be sharper and more technical. But if it goes to the ground and Gillian's on top, man, she's just a wizard. It's just another level. And Tabatha's good down there too. So it could just be one of those fights where it could go to the judges' scorecard, and it could be interesting. Do you score the striking and damage and volume for Tabatha, or do you score the ground control, submission attempts type thing for Gillian if it goes there? Super dicey fight. They've actually been chirping a little on Twitter too, and Instagram, with I saw Tabatha. She's been posting a lot of videos of her doing these like CrossFit workouts and not really posting any training footage, whereas Gillian's posting, sparring and her rolling with different fighters, and basically it was shouting out that we don't train CrossFit for fights over here, and kind of going back and forth with her. So should be fun in that aspect. A little, I don't want to say bad blood, but a little chirping going on. Similar styles when they want to be. And for me, I'm going to stick with our girl Gillian, who cashed the free play. We were in attendance. I have to. It's probably a biased pick, but I like that size advantage, and I like her strength. And if this fight hits the ground, which at some point I think it might, she should have just a slight advantage.
I'm interested to see how Tabatha Ricci plays this one. Like, does she go to the ground with Gillian Robertson? Because we all know, I mean, the blueprint to beat Gillian Robertson has been out there. Like, don't go to the ground with her. Keep your distance. Like, just strike with her and stuff the takedowns. If you can do that, you should be able to beat her by decision pretty easily. But that was at 125, and now she's down to 115. So it's going to be a lot tougher for fighters to do that to her, considering she'll be relatively the bigger girl in there. She's going to be 4 inches taller than Tabatha here. So I look at Tabatha's wins in the UFC. It's like Jessica Penne, at this point in Penne's career, she's like not really anything, like there's not much there. Maria Oliveira just got cut. There's nothing much there. And then the win over Polyana Viana, I mean, it looks decent. Like, Polyana Viana's got good submission skills, and Ricci was able to stay safe and not get submitted. She was able to go to the ground with her and not get submitted. So that probably gives me a little bit of some belief in Tabatha Ricci that she's able to survive on the ground with Gillian Robertson. But, a lot of people don't go to the ground with Gillian Robertson and survive. So, yeah, it is kind of probably properly priced. I think Ricci should probably be a little bit of a favorite, but not too much. And I was telling you earlier, I mean, look at this over under -200 for the over, +200 for the under. Gillian Robertson, if she wins, she usually wins by submission. Like she only has 2 wins by decision out of her 12. So, I mean, she doesn't really win unless she gets it done inside the distance, and she's always looking for that. So, Can she submit Tabatha Ricci? I mean, they're basically telling you like she's not going to submit her. So that tells me that Tabatha Ricci probably wins if it goes to decision. If you like Gillian Robertson, maybe the better juice is on the under 2.5 because she probably gets it done inside the distance. So yeah, for the sake of the show, I'm gonna go with Gillian Robertson because I believe that she can get it done, but will she? Probably. I don't know. It's a tough one. I think it's properly priced. I don't see too much value on either side. So yeah, for the sake of show, I'll go with Gillian just because she's our girl.